In our recent series of countering annoying ladder cards, we've been through Elite Barbarians, Hog Rider, and Mega Knight. On today's to-do list is the Witch. I personally feel as though she's way more annoying than the other three combined, but that's just because I run meta decks which struggle to deal with her. She has just under 800 HP, which means she'll straight up die to lightning. She'll die to any spell combination that's higher than a fireball and a log, but this does mean she won't be taken out by a poison and a zap. She'll even survive swings from P.E.K.K.A.s and mini-P.E.K.K.A.s alike, and then will spawn skeletons to harass them. On defense, these units won't even be able to reach her because of her skeleton spawns keeping them busy. This means that splash attackers are the most efficient way to kill her when she's not on your side of the board. Her damage is only 69, insert a funny sex joke here or something, which means she'll only one-shot skeletons and bats. However, it makes these units useless against her. Even units that she free-shots, the likes of goblins, won't be effective against her due to her quick hit speed and skeleton spawn. Her main threat really is a skeleton spawn. Her hit speed is sorta quick, but her damage itself is minimal, so this only helps her clear out swarms. Against normal units without a skeleton, she's somewhat useless. This mechanic is extremely obnoxious. She gives out 3 skeletons every 5 seconds, which we can equate to 1 elixir skeletons if you want. When she dies, she gives off 3 more, so an automatic 1 elixir repayment upon death, and this will usually happen around the troop that killed her. Along with the value of this generation, you of course get the Witch unit as well. It's very easy to get value with her as long as you can keep her alive for a long period of time. Having her sit on defense, build up a skeleton army, and gain value by killing units is her best and most annoying usage case. On top of that, she could also counterattack afterwards and have her skeletons ruin your tower. So how can we kill her on her own side of the board? Your best bet is most definitely a spell card. Lightning will finish her off easy, but she's probably going to spawn 6 skeletons on top of your negative trade. However, you probably will get tower damage, and you might hit another unit, so it's a pretty good counter to this annoying card. Poison may be the best counter, but she won't actually die to this unless you log her as well. A lone poison will neutralize her for the time being, but she'll still be alive to kill your unit, and then counterattack afterwards. Having to poison and log her will leave you vulnerable to some spell-based strategies too. Being forced into using both of your spells will enable your opponent to use fireball or log-bait cards afterwards. To avoid this, you can use splash cards on offense, but this is where the Witch's toxicity comes in. I'm going to run some gameplay for a bit whilst I talk, but essentially I did an entire video on why splash attackers are generally bad. They get nerf stats to the fact that they can do splash damage, and such they're not really meta and nobody really wants to run them, which however requires the attention of spells or a splash troop. Splash isn't a good idea because splash units are generally bad, and spells aren't a good idea because you can then be baited. This makes Witch a toxic card indirectly because of bait being strong and splash being bad, even though the Witch card isn't strong in itself. When she's attacking, countering her becomes a lot easier because of your Crown Tower's assistance. Dropping any unit that has decent health will counter her with the help from the Princess Tower. A Knight, for example, will get a +2 trade on it. Even ranged units like Musketeers will work with the Crown Tower. That's a +1 trade and a counter-attacking Musketeer. However, when your Crown Tower is distracted, the Witch becomes a much bigger pain to deal with. She requires either a lightning or a fireball and a log to be taken out of a push. And it's probably unlikely that you'll conveniently have those cards in hand when she's pushing. For that reason, you're going to need some troops, but splash troops aren't very good right now, so it's also unlikely that you'll have these in 2019. Most single target units will be useless here because they require the Crown Tower's help. You have 3 options. You can either spell the Witch down, run splash attackers, or focus her with all of your elixir and soak up some damage. By spending the majority of your elixir on her alone, you will have your defending units attack the tank after her. This sets you up for a counter push as long as you can afford to take some damage on your Crown Tower. So, in conclusion, you're going to need appropriate spells, some dead splash attackers, or to spend copious amounts of elixir on her. Lightning or fireball and log are must-haves for countering Witch, in my opinion. You can also use poison with the log, whichever fits best. For splash attackers, maybe use a baby dragon or a dark prince. Those are like the only real viable splashes right now, so try them out. If you can't run any of those counters, then you'll just have to focus her when she's attacking. The best counters to her that I would not recommend because of power level are Valkyrie, Bowler, Executioner, and Mega Knight. On ladder, it might be worth running one of these to deal with that Witch terror. But yeah boys, there are my opinions and whatnot on how to counter Witch. Hopefully this helped you out with your ladder pushing, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and peace.